a compassionate leader. In fact, all world religions and movements were born out of compassion. I stand with 8 billion people because the world is my family. In this age of interconnectedness, are we really connected with each other? Compassion is the greatest form of connectedness and love. There is no cause bigger than being alone. Loneliness is frightening. If you are connected, you are fearless. And we are the safest if we feel like a part of our global family. They are the mothers of the children. I am not a teacher or a preacher of compassion. I have made it a way of life. I truly believe that every solution lies in compassion in action. So, my dear friends, as we globalize markets, resources, and data, I urge you all to globalize compassion. Sangachadvam sambadadvam sambo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve salyananam upasate. We shall overcome one day.
So this video that you've just all watched ends with, "We shall overcome one day." That day starts today. And we are here to overcome. And we will do that by being connected, by expressing love, and making sure that we are creating one human fraternity. And so to start our session on globalizing compassion, I'd first like to call our chair of the session up to the stage. It is my great pleasure to introduce the force behind the scenes of this inaugural Youth Summit on Human Fraternity and Compassion, Asmita Satyarthi. Asmita is one of you. She is a change maker who, at the age of 10, inspired the Canadian Labour Congress to donate the funds that established Balash. She has worked tirelessly ever since alongside her brothers and sisters to change more and more lives. There is no better person to chair this session on globalizing compassion than Asmita. Please join me in not only welcoming Asmita to the stage, but also thanking her for making this amazing event a success.
Hello?
Anjali, when you say such things about me, I start crying. It gets very difficult to speak. Thank you so much to all of you for being here with us today. Our honorable guests, all the delegates who are here from all across the country and the world. थोड़ा सा नारे लगाते हैं. हमारा गांव, हमारा गांव, जोर से आवाज. हमारी बस्ती, हमारी बस्ती, हमारा देश, हमारा देश, Anjali referred to me as the force behind this event. I think my force is my team. Each and every person from the Zayed team, from the SMGC team, from the larger family has come together and has been working endlessly for days and nights. They've not slept, they've not eaten, and that is the only way today has been possible for all of us. So please join in giving a big hand. I want to thank our partners, the Zayed Award. It has been a very powerful partnership, and this is just the beginning. I know that we are going to do wonderful things together all over the world and spread human fraternity and compassion. This is a historical day for all of us. We were there at the Bal Ashram yesterday, which is truly the heart of the compassion movement, which began 4 decades ago. It is an overwhelming day for me, also because I'm here with so many of my brothers and sisters that I actually grew up with. I've learned so much from all of you. You've been an inspiration and also the soul of the Satyarthi movement for global compassion. आप लोग हमारी प्रेरणा भी हैं और हमारे आंदोलन की आत्मा भी हैं. तो आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. When I was growing up, my parents, my brother, and of course later my sister-in-law, I would see all of them fighting endlessly, tirelessly with all our colleagues also, and many of whom are present here today. I would see all of them fighting endlessly for the justice, dignity, freedom, fundamental rights of the most marginalized and the most deprived. And I would wonder, I would actually watch them in awe and inspiration, as I still do, but I would wonder what is the driving force behind everything that they do. When we marched across 103 countries during the Global March Against Child Labour in 1998, and of course Anjali was there with us and many others present here, we marched into the headquarters of the International Labour Organization. And it resulted in the creation of the ILO Convention 182 against the worst forms of child labor. Watching the energy that millions across the world had for 6 months, I would wonder, what is sustaining this energy? Our colleagues at Bachpan Bachao Andolan, they have physically rescued over 120,000 children from slavery. Our colleagues at the Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation, they make history every day. In fact, just yesterday, under the leadership of my brother Bhuvan, they managed a miracle. They actually managed to stop a change or modification in the fundamental act that governs child protection, the prevention of child sexual abuse, and save millions of children. So I'd like to give them a big hand. When the teachers at Bal Ashram help the children overcome trauma, the worst forms of exploitation, and they keep going every day, they don't look at it as a job. It's their vision and it's their purpose. One wonders what keeps them going. When my aunties, Mama Shamsa, Lema, work with so many youth across Africa and change lives, what is that power that drives them? Each and every person present here today has felt the pain and suffering of another person as our own. We have problems, we have marched, we have waited, we have struggled. We have done everything in our power to end that suffering. That is the inherent power of compassion. The world has never been this divided and fractured. There is conflict, fear, and apathy all around us. Just last year, I was at the Ukraine border and I saw women and children clutching their toys, their belongings, crossing over to the other side, not knowing if they'll see their fathers and husbands ever again. What have they done to deserve that? In 2018, our colleagues and all of us were at the Laureates and Leaders, where we went to the Zatari refugee camp. We saw the same thing with Syrian refugees. Broken lives, broken dreams. The most horrifying impact of the climate crisis is evident. And that's why this is the moment. As Anjali said, वो पूरे विश्व में लेके जाएंगे कि नहीं? कौन लेके जाएगा? कौन लेके जाएगा? हम सब लेके जाएंगे. We must expand our circle of compassion beyond our family and our friends, our immediate relatives. We must expand it to our offices, to our organizations, to our institutions, and to the whole world. Whenever or if ever a single man, woman, or child in the world is excluded or is suffering, if the planet is suffering, it is our own problem. अगर दुनिया में किसी भी आदमी, औरत या बच्चे के साथ जुल्म हो रहा है, अगर पर्यावरण का नाश हो रहा है, तो वो किसकी समस्या है? हमारी समस्या है, हमारी है. Can't hear. That is what SMGC is about. We have all seen the transformative power of compassion firsthand, and now it's time for us, like I was saying, to take it to the world. We must create experiential programs globally. We must, teach everybody else, exposure to everybody else with solutions, systemic and sustainable solutions that we have all devised together. We must create compassionate communities. जो हमारे BMG है, बंजारा है, BMM है, उस तरह के हमें करुणामय समाज का निर्माण करना है, where every man, woman, and child is connected, has access to all their rights, to their freedom, to their dignity. That compassionate community all over the world, the compassionate world that we are here to create. And we must work towards compassionate leadership across all walks of life, whether it's our governments, whether it's our corporates, whether it's our medical, our academic institutions. So, in a nutshell, we must globalize compassion. I'm truly excited to meet my co-panelists, who are all of them compassionate leaders and change makers in their own right. Thank you so much.
And now I'd like to invite up the panelists. So when you hear your name, please come on up. We'll start as Chief of the Youth Section in the Social and Human Services Department at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Ms. Soria Saad-Zoe spearheads initiatives promoting youth empowerment and development on a global scale. Touching lives across continents, she is truly committed to fostering positive change. Mr. Dave Fils-Amé, representative of the 2022 Zayed Award for Human Fraternity, and co-honoree, FOCAL, the Foundation for Liberty and Knowledge. He is the founder and executive director of an organization called BAL that focuses on the upliftment of Haitian youth through sport. A remarkable young advocate from the slums of Delhi, Ms. Nisha has taken a bold stand in her community against child marriage, led sanitation drives during the COVID pandemic, and initiated anti-abuse campaigns. Father Paolo Cristiano is a coordinator of the Asian section of the 2023 Zayed Award for Human Rights, for Human Fraternity, and co-honoring the community of South Asia. His commitment to advancing the education and social inclusion of Gypsy as well as immigrant children in the slum areas of Rome suburbs through the School of Peace run by his organization is simply spectacular. And lastly, a youth leader since the age of 8, Mr. Kim Soo Kumar is a recipient of the 2020 Billion Acts of Peace Award from the Peace Jam Foundation. He is currently a project officer at the Siddharthi Movement for Global Compassion and is passionate about ensuring all children are free.
कहाँ से चाहिए जूम आउट कर जूम आउट यहाँ होता है ठीक है तो पूरा खोलना पड़ेगा फ्रेमिस का नहीं पड़ेगा इसका का ही पता नहीं चल रहा भाई ठीक है ना मेरा भैया
A big welcome to my co-panelists. Absolutely inspired and impressed. Congratulations on all the amazing work you've done and your compassionate leadership and the impact that you've had on the world. So I just want to begin by asking each of you to give us opening remarks for a period of 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So let me begin with you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Asmita, and thank you so much for inviting UNESCO to participate in this incredible event. I mean, this morning was just amazing. All those inspiring words, actions. I mean, I will go back to Paris with so many new ideas in my mind. So thank you so much for that. I know that at some point we discussed about you were saying opening remarks and about compassion, and I think that it is really essential to have those discussions around compassion and fraternity, global fraternity in particular. I've been attending so many events, conferences, panel discussions, working groups, and it's always left aside. And I think that if there is something that I'm going to retain from the event of today and from the discussions that we had yesterday with Kailash and with you, Asmita, is that it's essential to have the spiritual perspective in all the discussions, be it at the global level, at the international level, at the regional level, or at the national or local level. I think this is really the added value of analyzing the problems if we have the compassion perspective as well. If we will see the solutions in a different way, we will be more creative. We will have a better understanding of what the other people feel, the fact that they do suffer, and compassion is suffering together, finding ways so that we can alleviate this suffering together. So I think that this is really one very good little thing that I'm going to get back when I will be back in Paris, working with my colleagues, that as from now, it will be essential to have all those elements in mind because we want to tackle all the global issues in a very impactful way and efficient way. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Fizeme. I'm the representative of the 2022 recipient of the Zayed Award for Human Fraternity, FOCAL. FOCAL, since its founding in 1995, has been one of the premier foundations working in Haiti. And Focal started a bold project to establish an urban park in one of the most disadvantaged communities of Port-au-Prince, Maltisa, a community that's completely controlled by gangs, and that community is actually where I was born and raised. And after being educated in the US, I returned to that very neighborhood, and I started a nonprofit organization to use basketball as a tool to mentor and educate youth in that neighborhood. And I started with my own funds, and it was very challenging in the very beginning. But Focal showed a level of compassion that no other organization showed us by providing us with our first grant, which allowed the organization to scale up to the point where we were able to celebrate our 10th anniversary this year. And Focal's compassion went beyond funding BAL, the nonprofit, but Focal also provided me with a scholarship to help me do my graduate studies at Harvard. So I'm an embodiment of Focal's compassion in Haiti, and also allowing me to go to one of the best universities in the world to get a quality education. So it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you all as the representative of this great organization doing tremendous work in Haiti through compassion.
नमस्कार सभी को, मेरा नाम निशा है और मैं दिल्ली की बस्ती की बच्ची हूँ। और मैं आपको ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि मैं ऐसी बस्ती से आई हूँ जहाँ पर हमने बहुत सारी समस्याएं देखी हैं। बच्चों को बाल मजदूरी, बच्चे की बाल तस्करी, बाल यौन शोषण, बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें। पर मैं भाई साहब जी का, माता जी का बहुत शुक्रगुजार करना चाहती हूँ कि उन्होंने बीएमएम की शुरुआत की और हम सभी बच्चों को जागरूक किया और इस पे हम सभी को इस काम के लिए प्रेरित किया कि हम वो काम खत्म कर सके और इस काम को हम खत्म करें। और इसके जो बीच का जो हम दूसरे बच्चों के लिए लड़ते हैं, हम अपने लिए और दूसरे लोगों के लिए जो हम काम करते हैं, ये क्या हमारे अंदर क्या ऐसा भाव आता है, ये हमें बताया भाई साहब जी ने कि हमारे अंदर वो करुणा का भाव है जो हमें दूसरों के प्रति, जो मुसीबत में है उसके प्रति, उसकी मदद करने के प्रति मजबूर कर देता है। हमें देखा नहीं जाता, वो भाव है करुणा, जिसके बारे में हमें भाई साहब जी ने बताया। मैं उनका बहुत शुक्रगुजार करती हूँ।
Thank you very much. I'm grateful, first of all, for the invitation. It's an honor. Yeah. It's an honor for me to be for the first time in the land of Mahatma Gandhi and in the land of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, that for us Christian is a impressive witness of compassion and love. And I want also to thank, first of all, the Committee for Human Fraternity because they've chosen the community of Sant'Egidio, to whom I belong, as a winner of the last edition of the prize. I convey all of you the greetings of the president of our community, Marco Impagliazzo, and the love of all the community of Sant'Egidio. Sant'Egidio has been summarized in 3 P's by Pope Francis: prayer, poor, and peace. We are struggling every day in our personal life as lay people, as priests, no matter in what status we live, to enhance these 3 P's. Prayer, we gather to pray together, according to the Christian tradition. Poor, each member of the community has a free of charge, totally volunteer service to the poor, I'll tell some more later, but I started serving the poor with the gypsy children who are very rejected into the European society. And peace. We believe that war is at the root of every evil, and that we have to struggle for peace, going inside our religious tradition, no matter if we're Christians, if we are Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, whatever. We must find that at the heart of the religion there is the word peace. Now, coming to the topic of this beautiful meeting, globalization of compassion. Let me say from my point of view, that compassion in our religious tradition, but also for the Jews and I think also for Muslims, the word compassion means the movement of the womb of the mother when she's pregnant. That this movement belongs first of all to God, the Almighty. So God is a tender father, a tender mother who loves us, who are the human beings, and especially who loves the poor, who are the most privileged sons and daughters of God. So this is compassion for us. How to globalize compassion? I think, and I'm speaking as a Christian, I think that one of the best teachings of Jesus is love your neighbor. We can globalize compassion if we start from our neighbor, from the student close to us who maybe comes from a poor environment and he or she is not educated and needs tuition, needs some words, needs a friend. We can globalize compassion when you, as young people, do not forget the generation before you, the elderly people. I know that in India, family is still very strong and rooted, but unfortunately, a very bad side aspect of globalization is that we are discarding the elderly people in the institutions, in the homeless, in the shelters, and we don't want to do anything, have anything to do with them. We, as Sant'Egidio, we go with young people to visit the elderly people, to tenderly hold their hands, to feel them that we are their grandchildren. And this, together with the medicines, maybe sometimes more than a medicine, can heal their life and make them feel that they are important again. So there an alliance between young people and elderly people, especially those who feel loneliness, is globalizing compassion. So let's start from our neighbor. Thank you.
नमस्ते सभी को। माल जो हमारा पूरा सत्यार्थी आंदोलन है पिछले 40-42 सालों में, जिसको माता भाई साहब जी ने खड़ा किया, जिसको आप सब लोग श्री कैलाश सत्यार्थी और सुमित्रा जी के नाम से जानते हैं, उसकी जो नींव है वो कंपैशन, चाहे वो प्रेरणा कहें आप, चाहे उसकी नींव कहें, वो कंपैशन और करुणा रही है। पर बाल आश्रम उसमें एक ऐसी जगह है जो हर दिन इस चीज को होते बदलते देखती है। बाल आश्रम एक ऐसी जगह जहाँ पे कोई बच्चा पहली बार स्कूल जा रहा होता है, कोई बच्चा पहली बार जो सालों से अपने माता पिता से बिछड़ा हुआ होता है वो अपने माता पिता से मिल पाता है, कोई बच्चा ऐसा जो पहली बार अपने जन्मदिन को मना रहा होता है और अपनी आइडेंटिटी को जान पाता है कि वो भी इस दुनिया में महत्व रखता है, वो भी इस दुनिया का एक सिटीजन है, ग्लोबल सिटीजन है, जो जिसका भी अपना एक अस्तित्व है। बाल आश्रम एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे हम पूरी दुनिया को बदलने की शुरुआत करते हैं, पर उसकी शुरुआत एक बच्चे से होती है। और जब हम ग्लोबलाइज कंपैशन की बात करते हैं तो बच्चे जो कि हमारा भूत, वर्तमान और भविष्य तीनों हैं, उन तीनों को हम बदलने की कोशिश करते हैं और उसमें बदलाव लाना चाहते हैं, और कंपैशन जो है उसके कोर में है। तो अगर हम दुनिया को बदलना चाहते हैं, आज जो दुनिया हमारे पास जो मिली है, हमें हमारे बड़े लोगों ने दी है, हम युवा ये मानते हैं कि हम ये दुनिया ऐसे नहीं छोड़ने वाले हैं। जो दुनिया हमारे पास आज है, यहाँ पे युद्ध है, अशांति है, यहाँ पे हर जगह लड़ाइयां हो रही है, धर्म जाति के नाम पे लोगों को बांटा जा रहा है। पर जो आज का युवा है वो शांति, वो करुणा के माध्यम से, और यहाँ पे बैठे मैं कहूँ 70-80 बच्चे जो बाल आश्रम के बच्चे बैठे हैं, आज अपने आप में सर्वाइवर और कम्युनिटी लीडर के रूप में हर दिन कहीं ना कहीं किसी बच्चे का बाल व्यापार होने से, किसी बच्चे का बचपन लूटने से और किसी बच्चे को उसके माँ से छीनने से बचाते हैं। और वास्तव में वही अपने आप में कंपैशन है। और युवा जो आज हमारे बीच बैठे हैं वही युवा है जो पूरे दुनिया में कंपैशन को क्रांति के रूप में ला रहे हैं। और यही हम एक कंपैशन की दुनिया बनाने के लिए, यही सबसे पहले ऐसे लोग हैं जो इस पूरी दुनिया को जब तक करुणा में नहीं बना लेते वो नहीं रोकने वाले। हमारा देश, हमारी दुनिया, हमारी दुनिया। थैंक यू।
Want to translate this slogan for our guests. So what we are saying is our village, compassionate village, our city, compassionate city, our country, compassionate country, and our world, compassionate world. And all of you are part of the compassion movement, so we welcome you as our ambassadors and ambassadors of compassion and action globally. So my first question is to you, Surya. I know we were talking about some of your work earlier and what you've done with the youth, but I want to know, what does compassion in action mean to you personally, and how has it impacted you as a person?
Thank you very much for this very interesting question. My family is from Afghanistan, and most of my family have been fleeing Afghanistan in the 80s. And that was very difficult because they left their homes, they left their lives, and I was very young, but I was seeing them suffering, and I was quite young, but I wanted to provide them with support and comfort. And I think that it's really coming from that very particular moment in my life, because when I look at it, I think that the common thread of my professional life and even my private life, I think that it was compassion. Maybe I was not in a position to name it, but I think that was the case, because when I finished my studies, I wanted to work with the UN. I worked in Rwanda after the genocide. I was very young, and I know what was behind. And then I worked with the High Commissioner for Refugees, and you can see the link between working with an agency who is focusing on the refugees and the fact that my family was refugee very long time ago. And I think that this thread has been accompanying me throughout the years. And I have to say that the fact that I work in a very intercultural and international environment has allowed me to emphasize on compassion. That I really realized that the importance of compassion is key, and that we should always bear this in mind. I always like also to say that we have compassion, we have empathy, and UNESCO has been working a lot on empathy. I'm the chief of the youth section, and working with youth is really amazing because they have a huge capacity for compassion. And if we take the time to listen to them, if we take the time to take into account their views, the solutions that... Yes, well, if we take the time to listen to them and take into account their views, the solutions that they propose, I think that we would do so many amazing, impactful actions on the ground. And I'm very lucky because they are very innovative. I'm speaking of young people, very creative, very innovative. They have out-of-the-box solutions. And they also have this mind of, yes, we have to put in place intergenerational debates, we have to advocacy, we have to advocate for more space in at the level of these processes. We want to work with leaders, we want to include as many young people as possible. And all of that is precious values and principles that are key if we want to tackle the issues and the very complex difficulties that they're struggling with, because they know so many things and we just have to listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Your story is beautiful. Your work is amazing, and I congratulate you. You're a true compassionate. So thank you. And I especially liked what you said about empathy. And I just wanted to mention here that, going back to what I was saying in my opening remarks, all of us present here have been constantly working for social impact, and it can get overwhelming. And that essentially is the difference between empathy and compassion. Because when you feel empathy, you carry that pain and suffering in your heart. But when you're actually taking an action, like you rightly said, to solve that suffering, that is compassion. And that gives you energy and power and keeps you going on and on. Great. So, Dave, would you like to answer the same question? What does compassion action mean to you?
Compassion for me is being moved to help others, to try and make a difference in the world, and to pay it forward, to give back what you have benefited from. For example, I was a refugee as a child myself, fleeing from Haiti to move to the US with my family. And upon arriving in the US, I was a beneficiary of a mentoring program for at-risk boys. And that program really played a tremendous role in my life. And I knew from that moment on that once I became an adult, I'd like to be involved in a similar type of work to pay it forward, to allow younger boys and girls as well, who may be going through challenging situations, to receive the kind of support that I received when I was their age. So that's one of the things that moved me to be involved in various nonprofit work, including launching my whole nonprofit organization.
निशा, आप बताओ, जब आपने बाल विवाह के खिलाफ आवाज उठाई तो दिक्कतें तो आई होंगी, तो आपने उन दिक्कतों का सामना कैसे किया?
मैम, दिक्कतें तो बहुत आई थी, पर ये था कि हम जो मेरी फैमिली है और जो बस्ती के लोग थोड़े भड़क गए थे, बट फैमिली जो थी वो सपोर्ट में थी। फैमिली को हमने बताया था कि ये चीज़ गलत है। बस्ती वालों को हमने जब शादी रुक गई कुछ दिनों बाद हमने उन्हें समझाया कि ये जो है ये बहुत गलत चीज़ है, बाल विवाह। आप छोटी उम्र में उस बच्चे का बाल विवाह कर रहे हो, उस बच्ची का बाल विवाह कर रहे हो, वो शिक्षित नहीं है और कम उम्र में बाल विवाह होने से बहुत सारे नुकसान हैं, जो कि मुझे अभी यहाँ पे मतलब सभी जानते हैं वो चीज़। तो बहुत सारी दिक्कतें आई थी, लेकिन हमने उस दिक्कतों को फेस किया, देखा और उसका समाधान भी निकाला, लोगों को समझाया। कम्युनिटी में जितने भी लोग थे उन सभी को बाल विवाह रुकवाने और कुछ दिन बाद उनके पास जाके प्यार से बैठ के उन्हें बताया कि कितनी गलत चीज़ है, ये एक अपराध कर रहे हैं आप। तो काफ़ी दिक्कतें आई थी, लेकिन हमने उसको बड़े प्यार से, बड़े थोड़ा सा प्रेम से बस्ती के लोगों को समझाया और वो समझे भी इस चीज को। उन्हें बाद में उनकी गलती भी रियलाइज हुई कि हाँ ये चीज हम गलत करने जा रहे थे उस बच्ची के साथ, उस बच्चे के साथ।
Thank you, Nisha. Father, I was absolutely inspired and moved by what you said about the true meaning of religion. We absolutely believe that the foundational founding power behind all religions is compassion, and all compassions teach us about human fraternity and love. But unfortunately, the sad reality of the world is that there are so many divisions and so many factors when it comes to all of us as humans, as humanity. So what role will faith play in bringing us together as one through the power of compassion?
Faith and religion can be, thank you for the answer, for the question. Faith and religion may be fuel on the fire of war, of problems, of divisions. But faith and religions, if we live them truly, if we let ourselves be guided by God, are water, are a fresh breeze that can extinguish the fire of hatred, racism, and war. We in Sant'Egidio have learned that by making possible people of different religions meeting together, know each other like we are doing today, and discovering that behind my cultural religious belonging, there is someone else who is my brother, my sister, really. These are not just words for Sant'Egidio, we do practice them. And through dialogue, we overcame, through mutual knowledge, we overcame war. There was a war in a country of Africa, namely Mozambique, that lasted 11 years. And by meeting the people there,
Thank you so much. So we're almost out of time. I'm so sorry.
No. By meeting and listening, we were able to.
I'm just going to come and stand over there with you.
Just to finish the sentence, we managed to achieve peace in that country. And every year, this year we were in Berlin, in Germany, a city that was famous for a wall that divided families of the same city, of the same population. That wall was broken also, we believe, because of prayer, faith, and concrete work on the ground, like you're doing here. And I'm very grateful for your witnessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great. So we're almost out of time, but I would like to ask one last question. All of the youth delegates present here today are change makers in their own right. They have solved problems, they have created solutions, innovated, and created real impact. Would you like to give them a message? Any of you? A message?
Yes, my message would be the following. Stay curious, listen to your inner voice, be creative, don't hesitate to read a lot of books, a lot of poems, watch amazing movies, try to change the world, co-create together, find a way so that you can build activities and actions all together. Co-creation is essential. And do your best, if you can, to be engaged in decision-making processes. I think that this is key if we want to have a very concrete achievement in terms of changing the world. Thank you.
I would urge all the young people here to stay positive, first and foremost, and to not be afraid to take risks. Risk-taking is one of the best ways for you to achieve the results that you want to achieve and for you to learn as well. You may very well endure setbacks and pitfalls, but that's part of life, and don't get discouraged when you encounter setbacks. Expect them, or always have a plan to know how you're gonna react and move forward once you do encounter the difficult moments, because they will come.
यहाँ पर बैठे सब युवाओं के लिए आप खुद एक बहुत बड़ी लीडर हैं, आप इनको कुछ मैसेज देना चाहेंगी?
जी मैम, मैं बिल्कुल देना चाहूँगी। मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि आपके अंदर करुणा है, आपने बहुत करुणा दिखाई है, बहुत काम किया है, लेकिन हमारे भारत में अभी भी बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चों के साथ बाल मजदूरी, बाल यौन शोषण होते हैं, या फिर इतने सारे भारत में अत्याचार हो गए हैं, इन सभी को खत्म करना है और आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी हम ही है। हम यूथ आज यहाँ पे बैठ के बात कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत गर्व की बात है कि हम इस पे बात कर रहे हैं और आगे हमें इस समस्याओं को खत्म करना है अपने भारत से। ये जो बच्चों के साथ जो बाल मजदूरी हो रही है, क्यों हो रही है? क्योंकि जो कराने वाले हैं उनको समझ नहीं है, उनके अंदर करुणा नहीं है। तो हमें इस पे बात करनी है। हम तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें इसके अपने साथ और लोगों को जोड़ना है। हम यहाँ सीख रहे हैं, हमें 5 लोगों को और इसके बारे में बताना है और इसे जोड़ना है, ताकि वो भी इस चीज को समझे, जाने, वो भी अपने अंदर एक करुणा का भाव लाए और जहाँ भी किसी भी चीज के पे अत्याचार होते हुए देखते हैं, वो अपनी आवाज उठाए।
Yes, thank you. My final message for you is do not be afraid of spending your time for free, your energies for the poor, for the most neglected ones, for the kids, for the elderly people. Do not be afraid to meet other people who are different from you, because meeting, dialogue is a richness and is not a danger. So let's work together to build a better world. Thank you.
So, अभी कुछ दिन महीनों पहले हम लोग अजरबैजान बाकू में थे, ग्लोबल बाकू फोरम में, और somebody from UN official asked the question to the youth panel that why youth? So मेरे दिमाग में क्यों युवा ही होने चाहिए दुनिया को बदलने के लिए या किसी भी चीज के लिए? So मेरे दिमाग में उस समय एक उसका जवाब आया। मैं ऑडियंस में बैठा था पर मेरे तक माइक नहीं आया। मैं दीदी से वो चीज मैं बता रहा था उनको कि मैं ये बोलूंगा, तो मुझे लगता है कि मुझे आज वो मंच मिला है बोलने के लिए। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो युवा हैं या बच्चे हैं, उनके लिए न धर्म, न जाति, न रेस, न कलर ये मैटर नहीं करता, न ही किसी देश की बाउंड्री उन्हें रोकती है। पर बड़े लोगों को, राजनीतिक लोगों को या किसी भी बड़े लोगों को, उनके लिए देश एक बाउंड्री है, उनके लिए मजहब एक बाउंड्री है, उनके लिए रेस एक बाउंड्री है। पर युवाओं के लिए ऐसी कोई बाध्यता नहीं है। उनको कोई भी चीज मजहब के नाम पे, जाति के नाम पे, धर्म के नाम पे नहीं बांट सकती और नहीं रोक सकती। अगर वो दुनिया को बदलना चाहते हैं तो ऐसी कोई भी चीज उनको नहीं रोक सकती है।
On that note, I want to thank my panelists for sharing your stories and words of wisdom with us. I'm confident that with all of you with us, we will indeed globalize compassion. Thank you.
Please, can we have another round of applause for the panelists? So, we are almost back on time. So a huge thank you to Asmita for getting us back on track. So our final plenary of the day is called A Roadmap to Human Fraternity. And I'd really like to welcome to the stage the chair of that session, Mohammed Al-Anoui. He is a youth leader, a passionate youth leader focused on democracy, international relations, and sustainability issues. He is an ambassador for tolerance at the Arabic Youth Center and an ambassador for the COP28 and Student Energy Summit. So please join me in welcoming Mohammed.
Hello, Chief. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me well? At the back, if you hear me well, raise your hand. Okay, yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mohammed Naimi, and I am from the United Arab Emirates. And I'm truly honored to be your moderator today for this remarkable session, the roadmap to human fraternity. This session is not going to be your typical lecture style event. It is going to be engaging and interactive. And it is actually designed to bridge the gap between our speakers on stage and all of you in the audience, our passionate and dynamic youth. Therefore, before we dive into this session, please let me introduce you to the tool that will make our interaction even more exciting. And that is Kahoot. As you see on the screen, Kahoot, for who is not familiar with it, is an interactive platform that allows us to turn learning into a game. You will be able to participate, answer questions, and share your answers. Therefore, it's really a beautiful tool that allows us to learn new things, test our knowledge, and most importantly, have fun, all at the same time. So get ready to be inspired, get ready to participate, and most importantly, get ready to explore the roadmap to human fraternity. Now, let's begin our session by introducing you first to Human Fraternity and Zaid Award. The objective of this session is to introduce you to the concept of human fraternity. And so please let me give you a small recap of how the concept of human fraternity came about. On February the 4th, 2019, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Professor Ahmed Al-Tayyib, and Pope Francis signed the document on human fraternity for world peace and living together. This document has been shared with all of you in your welcome bag. Therefore, we urge all of you to actually read it thoroughly, as it is a declaration that calls for all people, especially you, the youth, to rediscover and recommit living out values that create a peaceful future for all of us. And among the many dimensions that human fraternity calls for, we have the value of inclusivity, acceptance, solidarity, fairness, and compassion. And these values are what actually the Zaid Award for Human Fraternity seeks to recognize. The award recognizes people of all backgrounds and convictions, working together to advance and promote working together to respect diversity, and most importantly, advocate for a culture of peace that creates a peaceful future for all of us. Therefore, for our interactive session, we are honored to have 5 inspirational speakers. And every one of them is an example of human fraternity. They come from different backgrounds and continents and have changed the lives of many around them. Let me first introduce Mama Shamsa to the stage. Mama Shamsa, as we all know, is the 2023 co-honoree for the Zaid Award for Human Fraternity. She's a Kenyan peace mediator and community mobilizer. She has been recognized for nurturing thousands of youths in her home country and saving young people from the lives of violence, crime, and extremism by providing them with care, counseling, and training. Next, we have Mr. Pietro. We would like to invite you on stage, please. Also representing the community of Sant Egidio, the 2023 co-honoree of the Zaid Award for Human Fraternity. We have from the United States, as I mentioned, Mr. Pietro Bartoli. He's the program director of the Sant Egidio Solidarity Project and is responsible for coordinating Sant Egidio's service to people experiencing homelessness. We also have Mr. Admiral. Please join us on stage. Mr. Admiral.
Mr. Admiral Shabat.
Thank you, Mr. Admiral. Mr. Admiral is also the Managing Director of BBA, which is a frontline anti-trafficking and anti-slavery grassroots movement in India. Its core activities are run and managed through the Registered Society Association for Voluntary Action. And over the last 4 decades, BBA has protected and rehabilitated over 1.1 million children. So please round of applause for Mr. Admiral. Next, we also have Ms. Lalita. Ms. Lalita, can you please join us on stage? Thank you. Ms. Lalita is a young leader and recipient of the Ashoka Young Changer Maker Award. And finally, we would like to invite Ms. Radha Pandey. Is Ms. Radha here? Ms. Radha is a young leader and district anti-child marriage ambassador. She has prevented her own child marriage and became an inspiration to all the other girls of her village to fight for their rights and stand against any injustice and exploitation that happens to them or anybody else. So thank you all for being with us today. It is truly my honor to be your moderator for this session and to not take more of your time, dear audience and speakers. We would like to start our interactive session. We will start with the first question. So please get ready, get your mobile phones, and please scan the QR code on the screen as you have just done. Give them 1 minute for those who still didn't register. And also please make sure that your answers are in English. The first test question is, how old are you? As you see, Just please type it so that we make sure that you understand how the session is conducted. Okay, we will now move on to the next test question. As you can see, your answers will all be on screen every time you answer. And now we'll go to the next question to also test your answers. The next test question is, what is the opposite of human fraternity? Please type your answer. Please make sure you're answering because the question will move on. Thank you all for answering. Now we will actually start our session and our serious questions will start now. So please pay attention to the screen and make sure that you answer. The first question is, what traits encourage you to explore and learn about different cultures? Let me just see what you guys have answered.
So, Muhammad, most people or most of the youth have answered curiosity and love.
Okay, thank you for those who answered. Mama Shams, I would like to start with you. So, just seeing in the screen, most answers are related to curiosity. In your daily life, you're pretty much a safe haven for youth coming from different backgrounds and religions. What trait has helped you connect with these youth on a personal basis, and what events in your life have influenced you in a way that you were able to become a mother for these young youth?
Thank you very much. I'm honored today to be celebrating the two very important hashtags in the world: globalizing compassion and a true definition of global compassion. I grew up in a very retrogressive culture where once as a girl you get your periods, you're married off. But my true hero turned out to be a father from Rome, from the Roman Catholic, who saved me from getting married and ensured I continued with my education without changing my religion. I have to give back to society. Human fraternity ensures whatever I practice is sent back to the society. The passion that drives me with the youth, they've answered curiosity and love. Culture is separating us, but we are all humans. When I pinch you, you feel the same pain as me, irrespective of the religion, the culture you're coming from, irrespective of the status you are in society. What drives me most is the compassion embedded in me by a Catholic Church member. What drives me is the impression I got from the Zayed Award technical team, who recognized me and gave me a platform to ensure human fraternity is felt throughout Africa and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad Shakir, for your answers. And now we'll move to the next question on Kahoot, and then we'll be with Mr. Pietro. And so the next question is, what word comes to mind when you think about bringing people from different backgrounds together? Please type your answers.
The word that has been answered most is unity.
Unity? Cool. So, Mr. Pietro, you serve in multiple inter-religious coalitions to transform homelessness in New York City. When thinking about your work, where you on a daily basis provide care to the homeless that come from different backgrounds, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you think about people coming together from different cultures?
Sure. Everyone can hear me okay? Yes? So I'm going to cheat because everybody on the platform only gets one word, but I have the microphone so I can keep going. But the first word that I think of is humility. When you work in an interreligious setting, it is very easy to think of where you come from. It is very normal for most people. They enter any given place and they think the way they've always been thinking. They think of where they come from, they think of their experiences, they think the way they think. But to have a real interreligious, and we can say multi-religious, in the context of this gathering program, you have to be humble enough to say, oh, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe this other person, maybe my brother, my sister, my mother, my father has something they can teach me. Maybe my religion itself, maybe it's a little short on this something. Maybe this other brother of mine can share something with me that I need to learn. And I think that this is the approach that we take in our biological families, usually. You know, sons and daughters are humble in the face of their mothers and their fathers. And it's also something that we need to do in the face of our chosen brothers and sisters, our chosen mothers and fathers. And this is where, and again, I cheat now, the sense of fraternity, of compassion comes in, because you have a choice to put yourself second You have a choice to put yourself in the shoes of others. You have a choice to see the world as others see it. And without that, all you are doing is leading the way. You lead. You do things your way. You push. And no, at Sant'Egidio we believe, no, you are really my friend. You are really my brother. And I take you seriously when you say to me, listen, I have a problem. I need your help. Brother, come to me. I need your help. This is, it elicits, and now I cheat again, that sense of compassion within you in which you feel with your brother and sister, you feel with your mother and your father, and you allow your own feelings to take a second place, in a sense, to their own. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beato. Now we move to the next.
Muhammad, if you allow me, I would like to talk a little bit with the youth participants.
Sure.
And I would like to start with Kinsa here. He's a youth leader. And I would like to know what did you answer to this question and why?
Well, my answer will be unity. And इसका इस सवाल का जो जवाब है वो सबसे ज्यादा लोगों ने दिया है यूनिटी को, यानी संगठन को। तो मेरा मानना है कि जब हम अलग अलग जाति, धर्म, संस्कृति के लोग एक साथ आते हैं तो फिर उसको हम संगठन कहेंगे, ना कि किसी एक जाति के लोग इकट्ठा हो, एक धर्म के हों, एक मजहब के लोग इकट्ठा हों। तो ये सवाल का जो मेरे लिए जवाब है वो है यूनिटी। सो माय आंसर फॉर दिस इज यूनिटी। और बहुत सारे लोग इसके जवाब नहीं दे पा रहे, तो आप लोग कहूट जो इसके नीचे लिखा आता है KAHOOT.in पे जाके और उसका पिन डाल के रजिस्टर कर सकते हैं और फिर ये जो सवाल आ रहे हैं उनके जवाब दे सकते हैं। तो बहुत सारे लोग रजिस्टर नहीं कर पाए, तो आप लोग अपने फोन से KAHOOT.in पे जाके अभी यहाँ पे शो होगा पिन, वो पिन डाले और उसके बाद इस गेम में आप एंटर कर सकते हैं। ये आगे सो KAHOOT.in IT, and then game pin है 75180116। सो ये नंबर डाल के आप इस गेम में एंटर कर सकते हैं और जो सवाल यहाँ पे आते हैं सबसे ऊपर आप उनके जवाब दे सकते हैं अपने फोन से। तो सभी लोग अपना फोन खोल लें, इस वेबसाइट पर जाएं, ये पिन डालें और जो भी सवाल आ रहा है उसके जवाब दें और आपके जो जवाब हैं वो यहाँ पे दिखाई देंगे और जिस जवाब के सबसे जो जवाब सबसे ज्यादा संख्या में होंगे वो बड़ा करके हमें दिखाया जाएगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Kinsu.
Kinsu, for your answer.
Applause for Kinsu.
Yes.
Thank you so much for explaining the dynamic of Kahoot. Now we'll move to the
तो ये सवाल है कि जो ह्यूमन फ्रेटर्निटी यानी बंधुता के कौन से ऐसे घटक हैं? और ऑल ऑफ अबोव। तो 36 लोगों ने इसका जवाब लिखा है ऑल ऑफ अबोव।
Thank you. So, like all of you have answered, the values of human fraternity are indeed all of the above. Solidarity, optimism, integrity, fairness, but also many more, as understanding, kindness, courage, and a deep commitment to peaceful coexistence. We therefore urge you to read more about these values in the document on human fraternity, and you're welcome back. And now, Ms. Larita, you've been a champion in addressing critical issues such as child labor and school dropouts. How do values such as solidarity and fairness, for example, play a role in your mission?
कि जो बाल आश्रम के बच्चे हैं वो मीटिंग करवाई।
Next question on Kahoot, which is also, what is the first
सवाल है कि अलग अलग समुदाय के द्वारा जो पहला जो बहुत सारे संघर्ष या चैलेंज जिनको हम कहते हैं समस्याएं वो फेस करते हैं, उनके सामने आती हैं, तो उसमें जो पहला स्टेप है यानी सबसे पहले क्या करना होता है समझ उस समस्या को समझने के लिए। हमारे समुदाय में कम्युनिटी में जो भी समस्याएं आती हैं उन समस्याओं को समझने के लिए सबसे पहला जो स्टेप है या पहला कदम है वो क्या होना चाहिए। आप अपने जवाब अब लिख सकते हैं ऑनलाइन। बत्तीस लोग आंसर दे चुके हैं। किसी ने लिखा है लव, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, एजुकेशन, कम्युनिकेशन। बहुत सबसे ज्यादा लोगों ने जवाब दिया है संवाद करना चाहिए।
So Mohammed, most of the youth have responded communication to this question.
Thank you. Communication, isn't it? So, Ms. Radha, the popular answer was communication. We want to ask you, you've been able to prevent your own child marriage and have since been an inspiration to many girls to stand up for their rights and fight injustice. Can you explain to us your battle of standing up for your rights and what challenges did you face?
सभी को मेरा प्रणाम, झारखंड जी जोहार। भैया जैसे अभी आपने पूछा कि आप जब इस कैंपेन को चला रहे थे तो आपको कितनी कठिन परिस्थितियों का सामना करना पड़ा और कैसे आपने इसे जीत हासिल की, तो मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि पहले जब हमारे गांव में बाल पंचायतें नहीं होती थी तो छोटे छोटे बच्चे की शादी करा दी जाती थी। और क्योंकि पहले तो उतना समझ नहीं थी सब में कि वो ये समझ सके कि कौन सी उम्र में शादी करने से ज्यादा अच्छे होते हैं। लेकिन फिर जब हमारे गांव में बाल पंचायत का गठन हुआ, कैलाश सत्यार्थी चिल्ड्रन फाउंडेशन के द्वारा बाल पंचायत बनाया गया, तब जब वो बाल पंचायत के बच्चों के द्वारा जैसे हम लोग किसी चीज में गांव में एक मुखिया वगैरह होते हैं, वैसे हमारे बाल पंचायत के बच्चे लोग होते हैं। तो जब हम बाल पंचायत में आए तो हम लोगों को समझ में आया कि उसी से एक प्रेरणा मिली कि 18 साल से कम और 14 साल 15 साल ऐसे में जो शादी कर दी जाती है वो एक बाल विवाह ही कहलाती है। और हमारे बाल पंचायत के बच्चों का तो ये काम था कि बाल विवाह, बाल शोषण, बाल मजदूरी ये सब रोकना। लेकिन जब बाल विवाह की बात खुद मेरे ऊपर आई तो हमको लग रहा था कि हम इसमें कामयाब ना हो पाएंगे। लेकिन हम इस समस्या का समाधान करने की भी कोशिश किए, लेकिन नहीं हुआ। उसके बाद जब हम अपने आदरणीय कैलाश सत्यार्थी भाई साहब जी से बात किए तो फिर वो हमें एक प्रेरणा स्रोत बात बताएं और वो फिर मेरे घर वाले से बात किए। बात करने के बाद उन्हें समझाएं कि कम उम्र में शादी कराने से बहुत सारी कठिन परिस्थितियों का सामना करना पड़ता है। फिर हमारे गांव में भी लोग उनका इस बात को माने। और फिर जब मेरे पापा मम्मी से बात किए भाई साहब जी, उसके बाद फिर वो हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट के कलेक्टर से बात किए। फिर उन्होंने मेरे घर आकर के और हमें जिले की ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बनाया। और जब ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बनाने के बाद हमारे बाल पंचायत के बच्चों के द्वारा 22 बाल विवाह रोके गए। और अभी जैसे आप पूछे कि आप मतलब किस कठिन परिस्थितियों का ये करना पड़ता है, तो बहुत ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिसमें मार भी खाना पड़ता है, धमकियां भी सहनी पड़ती है, आवाज उठाना पड़ता है, समाज को एक करना होता है, तब जा करके बाल विवाह रुकती है।
We will go straight to the next question.
Thank you, Ms. Radha. Now I'll move to the next question, which is, what is the word that propels one into action? Before you, Mr. Anwar.
So, ऐसा क्या शब्द है जो लोगों को एक्शन यानी कि कुछ करने के लिए मोटिवेट करता है या उनको प्रेरणा देता है? तो एक ऐसा क्या शब्द है जो आपको बताना है इसके जवाब में कि जो लोगों को मोटिवेट करता है या प्रेरित करता है या उनको कुछ एक्शन या कुछ कदम उठाने के लिए उनको उत्साहित करता है। आप अपने जवाब लिखना शुरू कर दीजिए। 34 आंसर आ चुके हैं हमारे पास, 38, 40, 42, 44। सबसे ज्यादा लोगों ने जवाब दिया है करुणा।
Thank you, dear audience. Well, Mr. Annaral, the most common word was compassion. So, what do you think about that? Why do you think they chose compassion as the word that pushed them into action?
Thank you for this question which has been asked from the audience. Of course, I think the answer which they are given, compassion, is the most appropriate answer. Not only because we are having this convention summit today, which includes compassion, but it is, I think, obvious answer. I think as human beings, compassion is our core feeling. And as one of the speakers today in one of the sessions said, that compassion is something which starts from the mother's womb. It is that feeling which starts from mother's womb. That I think motivates both of us, knowingly or unknowingly, towards action we take. Particularly about the positive action that we take. There are a lot of negative actions which are not related to compassion, but positive action of love, of fraternity, of anything that we want to do positive in life. I think they are all driven by this core feeling of compassion for all of us. And I think it is a matter of great pride for all of us who are sitting here today, that today's summit includes two very important feelings which are relevant in today's world, that is human fraternity and compassion. So, but I'll take some more time if you permit. You see, we are living in the times of globalization. Globalization has been a key word in these last few decades. And the core thought behind that was, it was related to economics, like globalization of economy of different countries. But today, it has got degenerated into the globalization of conflicts. I think without a world war, today's world is full of conflict. It has never been like this before ever, in my opinion. And therefore, there is a great need and greater urgency to reverse this trend of global conflicts. And it can only come about by human fraternity and global compassion. I think the summit is very, very relevant, and your question that you asked was most appropriate. That's all I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Hamad, before we go to the next question, we would like to ask the youth, Insu.
So, वो पूछना चाहते हैं कि कितने लोगों ने करुणा अपना जवाब दिया था इस सवाल के। आप बताइए कि आपने करुणा को क्यों दिया था जवाब इसका। सवाल का जवाब आपने करुणा की।
मेरे हिसाब से मुझे लगता है कि हम जब भी कोई भी समस्या सुनते हैं या जब भी किसी की बात सुनते हैं तो सबसे पहला हमारे मन में यही आता है, हम सोचने लगते हैं उसके बारे में जो है हमें करना क्या चाहिए। सबसे पहला चीज यही करुणा ही होता है। करुणा का मतलब ही होता है जो है हम उनकी समस्या को सुनते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिक हमारे अंदर जो है वो भाव आ जाता है, वही एक करुणा है। और मैं ऐसी वजह से मेरा जो है जवाब था इसका करुणा था, कंपैशन।
और कोई वन मोर आंसर और कोई देना चाहेगा करुणा?
मेरे हिसाब से मुझे लगता है कि करुणा को मैं फीलिंग करता हूँ अपने आप को। मैं किसी को देखता हूँ गलत करते हुए या कहीं गलत होते हुए, तो मुझे लगता है कि मेरे को इतना गिल्टी फीलिंग होता है कि क्यों ना मैं उसके पास जाकर के उसका मदद करूँ, इस प्रकार का। और मैं भी चाहता हूँ कि मैं भी इसमें काम करूँ और इस पे जो बच्चे के साथ जो जुल्म हो रहा है वो ना हो। और इसमें मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है जब कोई बच्चे के साथ कोई हादसा होता है या कोई घटना हो जाता है, तो ये ना हो, इसलिए मैं इसके आंसर दिया। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Next one.
Thank you for all of us. Thank you for those who answered, and thank you for those who participated. Now we'll move to the next question, which is, as seen in the screen, do you believe that voluntary work is essential in advancing the values of human fraternity?
So, क्या आप मानते हैं कि जो स्वयं के द्वारा स्वयं सेवक यानी वॉलंटियर के रूप में किया गया जो कार्य है वो मानव बंधुत्व को बढ़ाने के लिए जरूरी है? फिर से मैं रिपीट करूंगा सवाल कि जो खुद से आगे बढ़ के जो आप काम करते हैं जिसको हम वॉलंटरी वर्क बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में, क्या वो मानव बंधुत्व को बढ़ाने के लिए एक जरूरी चीज है? इसका जवाब आप लोग देना शुरू कर सकते हैं। 45 लोगों ने जवाब दिया जिसमें 78% लोगों ने कहा है हाँ हम ऐसा कर सकते हैं, ऐसा होता है।
Muhammad's most people, 78% said, of course, voluntary work is essential for advancing human fraternity.
Yes, thank you. Of course it is essential, and thank you for recognizing that. We'd also like to ask Mr. Anbral again. The audience has said that, of course, volunteer work is essential in advancing the values of human fraternity. Can you also give us your opinion on that?
Yeah, I agree to what has been answered. You see, when you do a work voluntarily, it comes from your heart. It comes from your soul, because no one is forcing you to do it. And there is no motivation other than just doing the work. You don't get anything in return. You don't expect anything in return. The work itself is the satisfaction for you. And therefore, you can't do anything better than the work that you do voluntarily. I think this is the best form of work, and I totally agree to the answer that has been given. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah.
Thank you. So, Muhammad, we will go actually to one of all the way from Indonesia to be with us. She's a member of the community of Sant Egidio, and she does a lot of volunteering work. So, dear Jessie, can you explain to us why volunteering is important?
Thank you for the question. So, voluntary work is essential for advancing the values of human fraternity because I do voluntary at elderly services in Jakarta and also elderly services in Kupang. And when I do the voluntary work, I feel that I can spread love, I can spread joy with the other, and with the elderly, we have, they are happy and I'm happy too to have the voluntary work with them. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that does voluntary work here? Anyone that's volunteering? Kinsu, can you please help us translating? I want to know if there is anyone in the room that does volunteering work.
आप में से और कौन लोग हैं जो वॉलंटियर यानी स्वयंसेवक के रूप में काम करते हैं? और कौन लोग हैं हाथ खड़ा कर सकते हैं? हाथ खड़ा करें.
Yes. Well, actually here.
यहाँ पे ये जवाब देना चाहते हैं.
Hi. Can you explain to us why volunteering is important? And you can say it.
ये बताएंगे वॉलंटरी वर्क क्यों इसेंशियल है ह्यूमन फ्रेटर्निटी के लिए.
So the kind of volunteering which I have done are two-faced. मैं दो तरीके की volunteering करती हूँ. The first one is for humans, that is those who cannot hear or who are visually impaired. यानी कि वो जो देख नहीं सकते या सुन नहीं सकते. अब जो सुन नहीं सकते वो बोल भी नहीं सकते. Right? तो इनकी मैं मदद करती हूँ. And the second kind of voluntary work, जो दूसरा तरह का voluntary work मैं जो करती हूँ, second kind of voluntary work which I do is for cats, animals, especially cats who have been suffering from different kind of diseases. बिल्लियाँ जिनको अलग-अलग type की बीमारियाँ होती हैं और उनको रोड पे या फिर उनकी मदर के डेथ के बाद उनको छोड़ दिया जाता है. They are often abandoned by their family and even sometimes they are eaten by the monkeys or they fall in the glass. तो मैं अपने घर में खुद in my own house, I bring all these cats and I try to rescue them so that they can have a normal life, whatever the life is. ताकि वो normally जिंदा रह सके, जितना वो जिंदा रह सके. Thank you.
We also have a youth all the way from Kenya. She is working with Mama Shamsa. Dear Esther.
हमारे साथ एस्टर हैं जो केन्या से हैं इस समिट में भागीदारी के लिए. वो अपना जवाब.
So I believe that voluntary work is essential as it promotes values for human fraternity, because it is through volunteering that we gain experience and skills and also allow us to feel the challenges that our fellow youths undergo in the community. And it's very key for it because it's from there we feel empathy and know how to help them to overcome the problem and remain resistant. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Muhammad. We will go to the next question.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the next question, please.
अगले सवाल पे जाएंगे हम लोग. ये सवाल है कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ह्यूमन फ्रेटर्निटी दिवस कब आता है? मार्च 8, दिसंबर 2, फरवरी 4 और नवंबर 18. विश्व मानव बंधुत्व दिवस.
The question is, where is the International Day of Human Fraternity? Where is it? Yeah. So it's just a simple question. We mentioned the answer during our speech, and the answer is actually, as will be seen here, it is the 4th of February.
4 फरवरी इसका सही जवाब है, जिसका जवाब सही जवाब 6 लोगों ने दिया है.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the next question. Most of them. Okay, thank you for those who answered. The next question is, how can we solve conflicts and misunderstandings between diverse groups?
So, अलग-अलग तरह के जो ग्रुप होते हैं, उसके अंदर जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट यानी कि विरोधाभास और समझ में कमी होती है, उसको हम लोग किस तरीके से हल कर सकते हैं, ये सवाल है। अलग अलग तरीके के जो ग्रुप होते हैं उनके बीच अगर किसी भी तरह की समस्या हो, जिसको हम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट या विरोधाभास कह सकते हैं, और समझ की कमी है, उसको हम किस तरीके से हल कर सकते हैं, इसका जवाब आप लोग दे सकते हैं। सबसे ज्यादा लोगों ने जवाब दिया है कम्युनिकेशन, यानी कि संवाद।
Yeah, the most answered was communication.
Thank you. Thank you for those who answered. So, Mama Shamsa, the most popular answer today for this question is communication. You were honored with Zaid Award for Human Fraternity for your efforts in saving thousands of youth in Kenya from lives of violence, crime, and extremism. Which methods did you use to solve conflicts? And can you share with us some challenges or difficulties that you have encountered in your journey?
Thank you for that question. And it's good that you pronounce communication, because another part of communication is dialogue. I use the dialogue, and dialogue is communication. Talking to the youth, understanding them, why they do the criminal activities they are doing. And I became a mother. So a mother is a very important figure in a children's life, because a mother is the first teacher. As you all heard here, that compassion starts when a mother is pregnant, and it continues to eternity until the mother is 6 feet beneath, and the child continues with the same message. The challenges I faced are many. People are not, they don't accept change easily, because the children have made it their way of life, and I could not be able to give them alternative living livelihoods after taking them from criminal activities. But thanks to the lead award, the award I got, the Fraternity in the Zaid Award, enabled me transform 100 youth groups and 100 women groups with living alternative skills, and they are now peacemakers in the country. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Mama Shamsa. Now we'll go to the last question of this evening. And the question is, do you have friends from different cultures?
क्या आप लोगों के अलग, इसके सवाल है कि क्या आपके अलग अलग संस्कृति से दोस्त हैं? तो आप इसका जवाब दे सकते हैं अपने फोन से। फोन से जवाब दीजिए। रेड कलर के लिए यस दबाइए, और नहीं, इसमें लिखा है नहीं पर मैं बनाना चाहूंगा, उसके लिए ब्लू, और तीसरा है कि नहीं मैं नहीं रखूंगा, मैं सेम कल्चर या सेम संस्कृति के ही फ्रेंड्स रखूंगा। तो 95% लोगों ने कहा है हाँ।
Yeah. So, Muhammad, it looks like 95% of the youth have friends from different cultures, which is very, very encouraging.
Yes, of course. So, 95% of you.
आप सभी के लिए तालियां हो जाएं।
Yeah. But our friends here, we need you to translate the question for them. So, if you have answered B, which is no, but you would love to, please stand up. If you have answered no, but I would love to, please stand up.
No one answered.
Now it's you. No one did?
All of them said yes.
Okay, well, you surprised me, honestly. But we'll move to the question to Mr. Pietro. Mr. Pietro, do you have friends from different cultures?
Yes.
Yes. So, if you answer yes, then it is, did that enrich your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it did. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Well, first, I'm glad we gave you all a round of applause for answering yes to this question, because it's a wonderful thing that we all share. Now we can say we all share in this room, because of course we are all here together. We are all of different cultures, and we are all friends, so we can all answer yes. But if I may just not cut off too much time, but I grew up a Roman Catholic in New York City with Jewish friends. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, and then I played sports in a predominantly African neighborhood. So I didn't make my first Catholic friend until I was 15 years old, which is, I think, quite rare, frankly speaking, especially for a person who looks like me. And I have to tell you that meeting and befriending people who are different from me, from yourself, is one of the most beautiful things in life, and it's something that Sant'Egidio has very much taught me. And it's beautiful because what you can learn from people of other cultures is not just information about them, which is of course interesting. It's how much you can learn about yourself in understanding yourself through their eyes. And they can help you understand yourself better, understand where you come from, understand where you think, understand where you need to go. And I think that also the prize that Mama Shamsa and Sant'Egidio share, this prize for human fraternity, is both a recognition of this and an opportunity to do more. Here we are again, friends again, and of course it's a recognition of the fact that fraternity goes beyond those small little lakes, those small circles that we are so used to, and encourages us to go out and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Beatrice. Well, time is running out, and I'm sorry to say that we have to end this session. Thank you all for participating with us here, and thank you also for the audience for participating with us in this session.
I wanted to add something to the last question that you asked. Yeah, how do we learn? Now, you see on this stage itself, I learned how handsome a man can look in this Arabic attire. I learned from you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I learned from Sansa what is the meaning of beauty within. You are an example of that. Beauty within. And I learned from him how an Italian sounding name can be an American. So that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Admiral, for your insights. They are truly inspirational. And now we have, but please be ready for our group photo. And so please, if you can stand up, we can have a group photo with each other.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that brings us to the end of this afternoon sessions. Before everybody leaves, can you please have your attention for just a minute? We will be having our group photo right behind this building, so please follow staff out of the exit, and they will help you to navigate to where you need to.
अभी इस सत्र के लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं और हम इसके बाद बाहर में जाके इकट्ठा होंगे इस बिल्डिंग के बाहर। आप लोग जो हमारे वॉलंटियर्स हैं, स्टाफ है, वो आपको लेके जा रहे हैं आगे, आप उनके साथ जाएं। वहाँ पे हम लोग एक ग्रुप फोटो करेंगे सभी लोग मिलके एक साथ। अभी सुन लीजिए, पहले पूरी बात सुन लीजिए।
So what we just also wanted to say is, you know, this last session was really an experiment, right, for all of you. As something new for you to try and to do.
हमारा अभी आपने जिस सत्र में भागीदारी की है, हमारा एक अलग तरीके खास सत्र था जिसमें आप सभी ने अलग-अलग तरीके से सवालों के जवाब दिए और भागीदारी की.
So this is what the next 2 days are all about. If you remember at the beginning, Harry Kennedy said, please learn and make new friends. And this is what this time is, for you to learn and make new friends. So thank you.
आखिर में यही बोलना चाहूंगी, दोस्त बनाइए एक दूसरे से और दोस्ती रखिए. इसी के साथ साथ दोहराना चाहूंगी कि ग्रुप फोटो जो है वो आप पीछे चले जाएं. हमारे जो साथी हैं, हमारे जो स्टाफ, वो आपकी मदद करेंगे. दूसरी इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि आप जो है चाय पिए, फोटो खिंचवाने के बाद अच्छे से एनर्जेटिक चाय पीजिए. उसके बाद क्योंकि हमारे बीच में कल्चरल इवेंट होने वाला है कि आप जो है एकदम जोरदार, बहुत ही मजेदार कल्चरल हमारे बीच गीत प्रस्तुत होंगे. तो आप लोग जो है अच्छे से चाय के फिर से जरूर आइए. आप जो है 4:30 बजे तक सब वापस आइएगा. फोटो सेशन के लिए प्लीज सारे पीछे पहुंच जाएं. हमारे जो सारे साथी हैं उन सबको वहाँ पे असेंबल कीजिए. चाय पीने से पहले फोटो सेशन के लिए सब पीछे चले जाएं.